Hello class, welcome back. Now we are going to glue our beautiful trees down and play around with different ways of overlapping. So you should have your trees, perhaps they're in your sketchbook, and some glue. You can use a glue stick or you can use the Elmer's glue all. All right, you'll also need a background paper. So if you don't have a black piece of paper, you can use a brown paper bag or any other color you have. White is great too. And then you can color it to be any color you want. So I'm gonna make sure my glue is working well, and I'm gonna twist it open. I prefer using this glue with these trees here because I'm just gonna try to glue on each of the corners here, and that's a little bit harder to do with the glue stick, but not impossible to do with the glue stick. So let's see, I'm going to use some scrap paper to clean off the end, and if there's any dry glue that'll prevent it from coming out, I want to take that off. You really want to make sure your glue is working before you start, because otherwise it can be a little frustrating. Okay, so the glue's open and it's working. Now I'm going to lay out the trees to see how I want it to look. Right now they're already kind of overlapped because I had them folded up, so that's one way. They could just go sort of like the big ones in the back right there. It's gonna be so fun to arrange which way to do this. Now I will say, these small trees can go in the far back and they will look like the trees in the distance. They can also go in the front and they'll look like baby trees. Baby pine trees that are new growth. So it's really fun. You get to put them however you want. Now you might have noticed there's this little black mark right there. I'm going to try to put a tree over that somehow. So if there's a part that you cut that you don't love, you can figure out how to arrange them so you cover up the part you don't love. Sort of like that. I like those two side by side. So I'm going to start with my big trees, and I have decided that it's going to be like that. I'm going to go ahead and put it right here in the middle. Before I start gluing, I want to have some sense of how they're going to look. Something like that looks nice. I'll put a dark one back in the back, like it's in the faraway distance. And I picked the dark blue one because the color would be a little bit darker perhaps back there. And then here's that tall pine tree. I'll overlap that on top of the one in the background. Now when I glue them, they might not look exactly the way I have them now, but it'll look cool no matter what we end up doing. I want to put that little one up front just because it's so cute. Something like that is my goal. Now you might not have as many trees as I do, so this might be a little bit easier for you. Take another look at the sample. I believe in the sample they only use 4 trees. You only really need to use 4 or 5, or as many as you feel. So if you're just doing 4, pick your favorite 4. For me, I think my favorite 4 would be something like that, and overlap them. So you have one in the back, put another on top, goes one on the left, one on the right, maybe one kind of in the front. So this is a fun time to experiment and play around with different ways to overlap. Now I remember a little bit what I plan to do, so now I'm going to start to glue and do that. So I'm going to start with my big tree. Now you might remember from years past, the way we glue with the liquid Elmer's glue is by just using a little bit, and you can say to yourself, dot, dot, not a lot, which is a fun little way to help you remember not to use too much. Now I'm also not getting too close to the edge because I know it's going to kind of puddle out a little bit. So the dot is kind of tall, and then when I press it down it's going to kind of become a puddle, and I don't want it to get off of my green paper onto my black paper if I can help it, because it'll just look nicer if I can keep it underneath the green paper and not all over the black paper. Okay. So I finished gluing with my dot dots, not a lots. I'm going to put that down about right here. Now you're going to end up gluing your trees a little differently, I'm sure, because your trees are going to look different. So just have fun with how you overlap. There's no wrong way to overlap. Now remember, I planned to put that one right there so it covers up that little Sharpie mark I didn't mean. I think it just was on there because it was scrap paper. So, dot, dot. Oop, that might be too much up at the top. I might have a little spillover at the top up there. Sometimes it happens. It's okay. You can always clean up any messes that you accidentally make. There you go. Dot, dot. Not a lot, hopefully. And let me try to cover up that Sharpie mark that I didn't mean to have. Cool. So I just overlapped one tree on top of the other. So now the one on top looks like it's closer, doesn't it? Now you'll see I had a little puddle spill up at the top here, so I'm going to use a piece of paper and try to scoop it up. Scoop it up. You can also use a paper towel or a rag. Okay, now what's next? Next tree. Okay, I'm going to go with this guy, and see how I'm turning upside down to glue? I want to glue on the side where my pencil line is. So that way it's covered up because it'll be on the back where the glue is. Okay, here's another tree. Sure, I'm having fun overlapping here. This one's going to go in the front a little bit. I like to keep the points showing. I think the points are really nice. That shows the detail of the tree. I am going big to small. And I'm going to be doing this fast enough to where if I want to put some of the small ones further back, I can always lift up these trees because the glue won't be dry yet. There's a medium-sized tree I really like. I'm going to put it right here. Now they're getting a little smaller and smaller. Now you'll notice my background paper is quite large. I didn't have any regular sized black construction paper, so I have a little bit more paper here to fill, which is fine with me. I like to do it. I like that little blue tree, it sure is cute. And wherever it comes up, see how this paper is really thick, so this one's going to be hard for me to glue down, but if your paper comes up on the sides, go ahead and go back over it, press down. You might need to add more glue. Here's a trick. You can kind of add glue by lifting it and just putting some more on, and this time hold it. Maybe count to 10. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. There we go. A little spill. So that takes a little more patience. That's why we saved the gluing for the second day, because it does take some time. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Okay, I'll come back for that one in just a minute. I want to finish gluing the rest. Okay. Let's do, so I'm going big to small. I'm going to go with this one next. Dot, dot, not a lot. Oh, okay. Maybe over here's a good spot. I'm liking that spot. I really want to see the detail, so I'm trying to put it on top of a different color. I'm actually changing my mind here because you see it was on top of the same color green and you couldn't see all the beautiful details. But now that it's on top of the blue and the light green, you can see all the beautiful zigzag lines that we made. So that's okay. I'll fix that. I'll put something over it. I'll put a different color tree over it. See, just like that. And then you can see more of your details, more of your cuts and your zigzags. So what I was just saying is if you layer the same color on top, you won't see the edges, the zigzags that you cut out as well. Because it's the same color. It kind of is camouflaged, or it blends in. Now let's hope I can cover up those glue spots from before pretty well. Yeah, I did an alright job covering those up. Now I need to hold this down, kind of counting in my head to about 10. Okay. Well, it's almost finished. I've got some more trees here. And go ahead and do this. Wait, which side is the back? This is the back. It's getting quite small. I need to be careful not to do too many dots or I'll start making a mess. Which is also fine. If you do, you just clean it up. Okay, I'll put that on the front with this one. Now you can put yours in the back if you like. I'm enjoying keeping all of them here at this front line, but you really can put them anywhere. See, like I could put that right there if I wanted, or right there if I wanted. Maybe I will. I actually just had a thought. So what's fun about gluing is usually you can pick it up pretty quickly. Now I was just thinking I wanted the blue on top of that. I want the dark blue on top of the light blue. I think that looks nice. So I pulled it up before it was dry, and let's go ahead and just glue them together like this since I know that's how I want them to be. Dot dot, not a lot. It's kind of a lot, isn't it? We'll see what happens here. Might be a mess. Okay. There it is. My trees. So, I hope you had fun with your tree collage. And there's always more you can add. So, you could add a moon in the background because it does look like nighttime. Make sure that you glue down all of these corners that are going to want to come up a little bit. Just use a tiny bit of glue and hold it for about 10 seconds so it stays. And even if your glue did spill out a little bit, that's okay because it will dry clear. One, two, three. Now I know I'll get a little on my finger, but that's okay because I'm going to wash my hands right after this, as should you. Okay, come on, stay down, tree. Now, if you have any extra paper, you could cut out a circle, make a little moon, or you could draw a moon with your colored pencils. I'm going to just press all of this down a little bit so it dries nicely. Let's see, what color could I cut from here that I have just handy enough to show you? You know, I'm going to use a piece of white paper. The moon is white after all. Okay, now you can be daring and you can try to cut out a circle without drawing first, or you can draw first. You can sketch it and try your best. You can trace something. Okay. Just for fun, I wanted to add a moon. This could even become a crescent moon if you want. Look how I turn the paper when I cut. Whenever it's quite a curve like this, when it's like a really steep curve, I go slow and turn my paper slowly, and I'm doing slow little cuts. Okay. Now because this is thin paper, the glue might show if I use my Elmer's school glue because it's so thin. See how it kind of shows like that? Now I don't want that to happen again on my moon, so I'm going to skip over to the glue stick and just kind of put it right on top there. That should be good. And plop it down. And that is our finished winter collage. I might sort of keep pressing down on my glue here, and I just noticed one of my pine trees is missing its top on the tree, so I'm going to actually add one. I have that same piece of paper. I really want it to have a little top, so I'm going to cut from the scrap. Do my best. My hands have glue on them, so it's a little sticky. That little triangle should do. Okay. Anyways, you can tidy up yours how it needs, or you may be finished. Please submit your finished artwork to me in Schoology. And have a wonderful break. Happy holidays, everyone!